Hello friends, welcome to Shauna Stitches. I'm Shauna and this is State of the Stash 13 for November 2023. I'm filming this on December 10th, also 2023, and if you are new to State of the Stash, this is my documentation of the yarn that comes in and out of my stash in an effort to reduce how much I'm purchasing and use more than I buy. As you will see, and if you've been watching through the months, you will have seen my efforts are not 100%, but this is reality, and we are going to talk about what I actually do instead of what I probably should be doing, and the hope is that we learn and get better as we go. So that being said, let me show you some acquisitions for November. Before I get into that, I would like to say that you can find the show notes down below. There are links where you can find me, links to the yarn that I'm going to show, and also links to the project pages for finished objects. If you still don't see something that you're looking for, please leave me a message, a comment, or send me a DM on Ravelry, Instagram. I'm Shauna Stitches everywhere. All right, so the first purchase that I'm going to show you from November, you've already seen. I did show you this in October as a little sneak peek because I ordered it in October and it came at the very beginning of November. Isn't that so pretty? This is Lion Brand Scarfy Light in the color Sunset. And I have 3 skeins of this. And the reason I showed you this last month was because I did also show you this that I got in October. And this is Lion Brand Wool Ease in a gray called Oxford Gray. And these two are going to go together to make the Magnus cardigan. It's a crochet cardigan. And this is the exact yarn that was called for in the pattern. Obviously you can see it has a halo. It's so soft. It is acrylic though, I am pretty sure. Yes, 43% acrylic, 41% polyester, 9% nylon, and 7% wool. So I don't know how that's going to work up, but like I said, it is used in the project page, project example, and it's beautiful in this exact color. So very excited about that. Not sure when it will get I guess cast on, if that's what you use in crochet terminology, but I do look forward to making that at some point. Then I had a very large finished object, and I will insert a photo of any of the objects I don't have right here with me, but that was my, oh, I forgot to say, goodness gracious. Yes, so Joanne Scarfy, 300 grams into stash. All the grams will be right up here. Yes. So I finished Geo Gradient. That is the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along. It's no longer a mystery. And for that, I did extend the border, as you can see in the picture. I did a whole extra repeat, so a total of 3. And that brought me to 329 grams out of stash. Very happy to have that done. That being said, I still have a decent bit of yarn left. This is what I have left over from that project. So probably enough to make a hat or use in some color work or something. Of course, that isn't going to stay. The next very large acquisition I had some big ones this month. I purchased some Desert Vista Dyeworks yarn for the 2024 monthly, yearly knit along, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing the Desert Vista Dyeworks knit along. She calls it the yearly knit along, but you have to make 1 pair every month. So I don't know how to say that, but I've participated in 2023. I just finished up my December socks, but I won't be showing you those today. And I knew I wanted to participate in 2024. And I knew that before she announced that 2024 is the final year. So I'm so glad I jumped in when I did. But that meant that I needed to stock up. I definitely have more than 12 skeins. I may or may not purchase 1 or 2, next year as I get the 30% off coupons, because that's really hard to resist. And that's exactly what I did here. I had a 30% off coupon. So I stocked up. This color, so beautiful. Look at those bright colors. It's called Summer Rainbow, and I have all of the season rainbows. So those are going to get up next year for sure. But that one's summer. This one is Autumn Rainbow. And Spring Rainbow. And what would, Winter Rainbow would be the other one. And I have that one. I already had it in stash. So I wanted to have all the rainbows because I love rainbows. And then I got this color, Zombie Frap. So if you don't know Desert Vista Dyeworks colorways, she has a lot that are zombie themed, which is interesting because this one doesn't have the variegated stripe in there, which is kind of her zombie color. So I don't know why this one's called Zombie Frap, but it is. And so of course, I think that's based on a Starbucks Frappuccino color. Then I got this one called Kooky Halloween. That's going to be a lot of fun to knit up next October. And last but not least, I can't read this one backwards. Good and Zombody Plenty. So there you see, there's the zombie stripe with the green and the different colors. But that's based on Good and Plenty's, which I have not eaten in a very long time, but as a kid, that was definitely one of my favorites. Fun fact, I really enjoy licorice. Red licorice, black licorice. But you know what licorice I don't enjoy is it's Australian licorice. They claim it's like the original, or I don't know. I've seen the packages in the store. Every time I see it, I am tempted because it looks really fancy, and in my head that means it should taste good, but I just don't like it. But give me some red vines, which weirdly enough, red vines also has black licorice. But anyway, that's the brand that I like. It's so good. I think it's the texture. Anyway, so that was 600 grams into stash. That's a big one. But it wasn't the biggest one. I saw that Nomad, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Nomad, K-N-O-M-A-D, was having a Black Friday sale, which, funny enough, when I just was making the show notes, I see that they're still having their Black Friday sale, so maybe they always have it. But I got this yarn called Eggshell. I don't know how this is going to work up. I mean, it seems okay so far. It's a 70% superwash merino and a 30% nylon. So the general base that I really prefer is 75-25. But this was, I think, 30% off, and I couldn't resist. So there we go. You can see the package is already open because I have used it, one skein. But I know that's a big purchase. I just find undyed yarn to be so versatile, and I use it a ton in my projects, and you can really either make a color go a lot further than it would on its own. You can marl, you can stripe, it goes with everything, and I don't know, I just love it. So that is always a staple in my stash. I know it's an acquisition. I know that it's counting 1,000 grams into my stash, but it is so useful that I let it go. So I can justify anything. Anyway, the next, I don't have this one to show you. I will pop in a picture, but the next thing that came into my stash was the Cozy Knitter Advent, and I'm currently working on those socks. And that was 100 grams into stash. Then I finished my November Desert Vista Dyeworks socks in this fun color. Look at that. It looks like Christmas lights. It's called a Gradient Speckle Christmas. So, so pretty. So these used 74 grams of yarn. And then I got another Advent, the Suburban Stitcher Advent. And that was, I wonder if that's correct. Of course, my phone is up there. Hold on. I'm going to do a little math here. Because I put down 500. But now I'm wondering, because this one didn't have a full skein. Did I think it had a full skein? I don't know. Let me see if I can find my calculator on my computer. Yep, it's correct. 500 grams into stash. And that one truly is being stashed. I'm waiting to open it all to figure out the perfect project, which I have not figured out yet. So if you have any suggestions for a 25 mini skein, 20 grams each advent calendar, it's a pink fade, my favorite color pink, so it needs to be amazing. All right, then I finished the I call these the totally mostly tessellated socks because they are not exactly the totally tessellated pattern. If you've seen that, it's a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it looks just like this, and this is where it changes for me. So her pattern, you knit a big long tube of just this and put in an afterthought heel. For mine, I knew I wanted a slip stitch heel flap and gusset, so I did the gusset decreases in a striping pattern. I think I could have figured out how to do it in the tessellated pattern, but that was just too much for my brain. Also, I'm showing you the one that I screwed up on. Can you see where I screwed up? There should be a pink stripe right there. Let me show you the one that isn't screwed up. There we go. That's exactly what it should look like there. So once I was done with the gusset decreases, then I resumed the tessellated pattern. This is such a fun sock. I really did enjoy knitting the pattern, but you see this color here, this is that eggshell that I was showing you, the Nomad yarn. So I've already started using some, and there are 3 yarns in this. So there's the undyed, there's this self-striping, and then the pink is actually a mohair that I held double. The pattern doesn't call for it to be held double, but it also calls for a surrey, brush surrey, and that tends to be thicker than a regular strand of mohair. And mine is a known brand name, Mohair. It's similar to a Drops Kid Silk Mohair, so that's what I put it in as my project page, but I don't actually know what it technically is. But yeah, I really like how these turned out. I'm very interested to see if my feet stay warmer with mohair socks, and I really do want to knit a pair that is all held mohair double with a fingering weight yarn, because my feet just freeze even in wool socks. That was 84 grams out of stash. And I mean, obviously the Nomad I just purchased, but everything else was stashed, so that felt really good. And the very last thing that I finished for the month is my all black fingering weight plus mohair muscle burrow hat. And this I made extra long, so it's the medium width with, how long did I knit it to? I think 25 inches before I started the decreases. And I thought to myself after I finished, I could have knit it a bit longer. So I knit it to about the extra long or extra large size length, but the medium width, if that makes sense. Because I like a super thick brim to cover my ears, and I want room to have my hair in a bun. So that is finished. It is in my bag for work, just in case I need to pull it out and use it. And that used 150 grams exactly out of stash. Such an awesome hat. I do wish that I would have made it a bit longer, but there's always next time, because there will be a next time. I love that hat, and I love it with mohair. It's amazing. So that is all of the stash in and out for November. It's a big number for the in. Total yarn into stash, 2,500 grams. So that's 25 skeins into stash. And it's a pretty big number out, 637 grams out of stash. That's a difference of 1,863 grams. So an extra 18 and a half skeins into stash. For the year, let's recap where we're at. All the yarn in minus yarn out so far, we're at plus 5,981 grams. So 60 skeins, essentially. 60 skeins more than what I've used just this year. I just have to take a moment to think about that, because that's crazy. And I'm so thankful that I am tracking all of this and sharing it with you, because maybe you will learn something along with me. what I'm learning is that in my head, if I did not have these numbers to look at, if I hadn't been tracking, I would tell you I've done really well this year. I have reduced my yarn purchasing a lot. Let that sink in. There's a reason why my stash has grown the way it has, because I call this so far a win. Am I knitting more than I'm bringing in? Nope, not yet. But I can tell you, even without seeing numbers from previous years, that packages are not showing up at my door as frequently as they used to be. And for sure, I am doing better about not buying as much. That being said, there is always room for improvement. And I am very glad that we're almost to the end of the year, because I see January as a nice opportunity to reset, refocus, reestablish goals, and it's a new year. We can see the progress. We can compare next year to this current year and really start to change some behaviors, I think. So anyway, it's a win. It's a win, the fact that I show up and still tell you the truth and be transparent and I guess own up to my purchases. That being said, thank you all so much for being here. If you have been tracking your stash or are thinking about tracking your stash, what kind of goals would you like to set for yourself? And if you have been tracking, how are you doing? Are you noticing certain trends? And have you made any substantial steps to changing the behaviors that you have had? Or are you currently stashing up? I feel like a lot of us in this economy are really sort of digging our heels into the stash that we have and looking forward to knitting a lot of that. This is not my plans video, but I will just throw this in here because it kind of goes along with it. But in 2024, I am really hoping to work on a lot of whips that I have that I've had for a very long time. And that should eat up a lot of yarn from stash, which is great. And I really just want to be more intentional. I would love to get down to just 1 or 2 projects at a time. That sounds like a pipe dream and sounds amazing. So I hope that you guys are thinking about next year and enjoying the enjoying the last little bit of this year. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.